All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AFCSL Town Hall featuring the EDI Committee, which is the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. They are here joining us to give us a little information about this committee, because it's a new committee that's been formed by the AFCSL. And for any new participants that are out there, the AFCSL is the America's Finest City Softball League. And we welcome you in and watching us as we have this quick little town hall with the committee. I got all the members here. I've got Tony Hyde.
Hi.
Of our league. We got Sarah Sika. She's the director of operations for the Women Plus section of our league. And we have David Carlos, who is the player representative for America's Finest City Softball League. And we have Veronica Rivera. She is a member of our league, and she has joined the committee, the EDI committee, to participate and work the things out with them at their achieving their goals and stuff. I'm also Lee Lozano Ozier. I'm also a member of the board with the AFCSL under website, social media, and events, and also a member of this committee. So David, we'd like to get started with you and make sure he's available with his mute. David, so tell me about the EDI committee. What does it mean for the league? What's going on? What is this going to do, or why is this formed, or what's happening?
Thanks, Lee, for that question. And I just want to kind of start out with how it all got started. It started with conversations with Sarah, with you, Lee, with Tony, and then Veronica had joined us a little bit after she attended the first session that we had. And it was really just a conversation to talk about Black Lives Matters, right? That's how this really got started, and taking a look at our league and to see like how are we welcoming of others in our communities, because we can take a look at things on the national level and really do make a difference, but really we can make a huge impact in the organizations that we are a part of day in, day out within our community. And I think, with this great group in the committee, that we are passionate about sticking to what makes AFCSL great, which is an open, welcoming community. And we're made up of human beings that, we have to take a look at ourselves and see where are we missing? Where are some areas that we may not be reaching out to members of the community? Maybe it's not as welcoming for everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we can be better. And I think that's what this committee is about, is just identifying where we can be better and really just hold true to our values of being equitable, of being open, and of being accepting. And you're on mute, Lee.
I was like, nice, thank you so much. Do any of the Tony, Sarah, Veronica, do any of you have anything to add to that with what David so eloquently put out for that? I know that, Veronica, what do you got?
No, I was going to say, that's why he's the leader. He just said it so well. So
yeah,
I think we're good.
Tony?
Yeah, I mean, even for me, I would say I was once, I went on I remember when we thought about, when the thought for me coming up to being part of this organization was, I was marching with Roman. We was going to the BLM march, and he was thinking, well, why don't you try to be why don't you try to be a part of an organization so where we can do something constructive? And he actually suggested that I actually run for the position that actually David Carlos won. So congratulations, David. then after that, David asked me would I like to join on and to be a part of this team. And for me, what I like about this the most is it gives me a more constructive way of putting my energy into doing something different. And it gives me an opportunity to, when we have our group meetings and I'm not, and sometimes I'm at my low points, I can come to the group and share about them, or the other group members do the same. So it's like a sounding board. And then with that, the group members, like, it's kind of like David was saying, we get an opportunity to look at blind spots, that we aren't really aware of, and how we can to make changes. And so it's definitely been an honor for me to be a part of this group. So thank you.
I know that when we, thank you, Tony. I know that when we started even discussing this, me and Sarah were pretty much coming onto the board roughly around a couple of different months apart, coming on. So Sarah, you also you're heavily invested in the goals of this committee with diversity and inclusion. What sort of communities do you think we're looking at to increase specifically, or are there, with regards to diversity here?
I mean, I think it's just trying to get everybody that wants to play softball involved. It's reaching out to to increase our people of color or our religious diversity, or even our financial diversity, people that want to play but can't afford stuff. It's to can't afford the super expensive bats, the super nice gloves. It's just to create a safe place for people to, once a week or even more, to just be able to play softball. And that's kind of why I'm really vested in this. It's because it's giving people a safe space and creating that family, regardless of who you are and what you believe in and what your means are. So that's really why I'm heavily vested in this.
Right, and you bring up a great a point about finances and stuff, because a lot of people just think, oh, it's just softball. We're just going to show up. It really doesn't cost too much, and when you think about the main stuff, it doesn't really. I mean, $65-$70, to join a league doesn't sound like too much. But then you think about the other circumstances that are involved in being in a league. You got to take a trip every Sunday to wherever the fields are going to be. Some of us don't live in the middle of San Diego. Some of us live out in the county. I've seen people coming all the way as far as Riverside participating in our league because we're just so awesome. And there's you got to get cleats, you got to get uniforms, you've got to wear proper equipment, and that's and in times like now, with what's going on with the pandemic and unemployment and all that, it adds up. And so I can see you make a great point when you're discussing financial reasons that it might be harder for someone to join a league.
Yeah, I heard that last year that was a barrier for a lot of people. It was like, oh, I want to play, but I can't. I don't have a car, or I can't afford this and that and whatever. And that's just, it's a bummer. It's like, why? You should still be able to play. So that's why hopefully we can figure out something with this committee and propose something. That way there's shareable equipment, or there's ride shares once we can, or something that we can provide people so we're a welcoming community.
Cool. Sarah, since I got you here, what already on screen, tell us about the word choice of equity, and because it's EDI's equity, diversity, and inclusion. A lot of people mistakenly want to say equality. What's the difference, or is there a difference?
There's definitely a difference. I mean, a real life example would be, let's talk about that stimulus check, right? Everybody gets $1,200. That's equality. Everybody's getting the same thing. But what if I don't need the $1,200? And what if my neighbor needs $1,800 because that'll help them pay their rent? That's equity. It's it's proportionally giving out the resources to who needs it for how they need it. So a school that's really poor in math, hopefully the school board gives them more math support, and that would be equity. And schools that are great in math don't have to have that extra support. So that's the biggest difference in the most simplest way I could put it.
Got it. Thank you. Monica, do you think that like this kind of committee will have a big impact on the Women Plus section of the league?
Yeah, definitely. So I've played in the league about 5 years or so, and I've seen our league membership and participation kind of slowly decline, and especially on the women's side. So I think the men's side, it's often thriving. But on the women's side, we've gone down to, I play in the D division, and we think we've gone down to like 4 teams. So part of our goal is to figure out where is everybody? Where's everyone that wants to play softball? And let's market to those people. Let's bring in, if it's veterans or active military or, all of just the other women that are out there. And let's help grow our women's division, because yes, I love all of the teams that are currently in the women's division, but I would love to play more teams and have some more competition. So I definitely think that this is going to help. All of our efforts will help us to kind of reach out and grow just our league in general.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with that. David, when you were heading up this committee, I noticed that you came into it with a bit of administrative know-how. You came into these meetings. You had you came in with a format with the Zoom calls. I get the feeling that maybe you've done this with other organizations when it comes to organizing and things of this nature, which is, EDI is slightly political. It's not trying to be political, but when we discuss issues of equity, there's a little bit of politics that gets involved here and there. You seem to handle that very well with how you put a format together to make it as inclusive as possible for everybody's beliefs and thoughts. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I have participated in numerous equity, diversity and inclusion at work at UC San Diego. And we started these programs, or UC San Diego started an equity, diversity and inclusion department several years ago. And being a part of that over the years, seeing how they approach topics of race and racism and equity and diversity and what it all means and why it's important has really helped me be able to come to this organization and really feel comfortable, like that this is what we're doing is going to be fruitful. Like we're going to have stuff that is going to make a big impact on our league. And also, I'm a project manager, so that organization, in order to be successful in project management, you have to be organized, and I like organization, so you get that yes. With me coming to this committee.
Tony, got you now. What motivated you to serve the league on this committee? And thank you, by the way, because you and Veronica, you're not on the board, so you're one of the 2 committee members who aren't sitting on the board. So to you both, I want, as a board member, I want to thank you, because you're adding and you're doing something about a situation, and I appreciate that. So, and I know a lot of other people in the league are also very grateful for both of your participation in any committee that the league would host. But Tony, specifically, what motivated you to serve the league on this committee?
It's just giving me something, a productive way of dealing with like you were saying, the inequality or the equity component. And the one thing I like about this group, because it tends to be, like you were saying, we hear the big problem, and then what can I do, or what can the committee do to fix it? And that's one thing I love so much about this the committee, because it tends to be solution focused. You know, we find there's a problem, and then we tend to be, what do we need to do about it? And so that's kind of what, you know, knowing that I needed some type of structure to try to figure out how to problem solve. So, you know, wanted to make a difference in my little, in our little world, in my little community, you know what I mean, within the LGBT. So that's kind of what motivated me.
You know, in a lot of ways, softball meets that kind of explanation you're giving, because you don't just win a game. You know, you win a game with every run. You know, it takes a whole bunch of, it takes everyone on the team doing their part. You win the game by getting everyone across that plate one at a time. It's not something that just happens. And our committee is just like that. You're going to play your part, and you're giving back to the league this way, just to show that we are really an open tent league, and we're really trying to be a fundamental part of our community. I think the league is going to embrace this. I think it's going to embrace the goals and what the committee is trying to achieve in regards to just making sure that our league is open to everybody, and that everyone feels welcome, that everyone comes in. What about you? Do you think that it's going to be that the league is going to embrace this? Everyone you know in C division, everyone you know down in D division.
Who was that for?
Tony.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I definitely do. I think everyone will, because the number one thing, what I've even found, the first thing I noticed about this is it feels safe. It feels safe to talk about something that's risky or something that's uncomfortable. And that's the thing, even talking about inequalities or people not being equal doesn't feel comfortable for most of us. And I think now, once we've seen that we've made this a huge priority, I think people will feel safe about it. So yeah, I think people will definitely embrace it.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Veronica, again, thank you, because you're not a sitting member of the board, and you've stepped up to the plate to do something for the league and your team. What motivated you? I mean, was it just you saw my wonderful post with a great graph, and you're like, oh, I gotta do it.
Yes, that was definitely.
What was it?
So I have been in the league about 5 years. This spring would have been my 5th season. And I've always wanted to either like join the board or join a committee, but my excuse was always that I was too busy. So with COVID, obviously that slowed down a lot, and I've been working from home since March. So when I saw the post, like kind of saw that there was an opportunity to get involved, I was like, oh, DE&I, like that is definitely something I'm very interested in. I'm super passionate about it. Just in the day of age that we're living in, you know, after the murder of George Floyd and just kind of everything this year, just the discussion around DE&I, I just really felt like it was my time to get involved, do something different, kind of step out of my comfort zone, and really try and have a voice for my team. And then also, you know, just try and make a difference. I was excited that this was a committee that was just getting started. So it really felt like I could help change it and shape kind of where the league was headed. And then, like I said, just for the Women's Plus division, you know, where I think having a committee that is accepting and focused on moving the league forward and having the conversations, just like Tony said, having those uncomfortable conversations, I think it's huge. And to say, hey, we're not just a, you know, softball league, we're here to make a difference. That was, I think, what was really calling to me to join the committee.
Righteous, good. Well, you know, it reminds me, because maybe about 12 years ago when I first moved to San Diego, I'd just been stationed here from Japan. And my friend Ben Gomez, probably some of you out there know him, you know, he just, for the first year I was here, tried to get me into the league. And I was already part of a neighborhood watch group, and I was doing these things. And the last thing I thought I would ever do was play a sport. I was like, girl, please, me going out there trying to throw a ball and hit a bat, I don't think so. And I took to it. I mean, it was weird. I took to it. And also because, my future husband to be, Trent, was on the team. And I was like, I got to be on this team. But you're right. It was a safe space. It was. I was in the military. Things were a little crazy around that time. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was on the cusp of being repealed. So I was in, what I did was I joined softball so that I could be around. There was a whole bunch of veterans on my team. So, it was our safe space. It was what brought us together. And I don't want to say we've lost any of that because we haven't, but it was what you're saying about George Floyd and the protests that happened over the summer kind of reignited a lot of what we experienced maybe 12 years ago, 10 years ago when Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the repeal was going on. And we weren't technically supposed to be playing on a gay league before Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but my command was great, and so I see where your focus is. And again, on behalf of the league, we're really happy you're here. So your team, how did you place last season? Before,
we placed first. So gossip about this, yes. We placed first. They always that's our other gossip team. So the team I play on is gossip about that. And we always go neck and neck, even though we played, I think it was like a couple games anyways this off season. But yes, we placed first, which is really exciting.
Nice. Good. And David, you too. I'm gonna transition a little bit into a little bit more of a more personal aspect of this interview. But David, you too, you came into the league about maybe 6 years ago, maybe 5, 6. I'm trying to remember when I first saw you, because I was like, look at this bitch coming in here and threatening my team. Look at her. And you guys started off a little rocky, and then the Sharks really started to pull up last couple of seasons moving forward. So what's your story, David? Where was that turnaround going?
I started like you, Lee. Actually, it's been 12 years since I've been in the league. I mean, sorry, not 12 years. I've been here since 2012. So going on 8 years, I've been part of the league. And it was one of those things that I had thought about like I would want to do. And I just met up a friend one day and we went to a clinic, and and that's kind of like how I started. And I didn't realize that I would take to softball like I have. I have coached 3 teams now for AFCSL. The Dragons, I coach the Destroyers, and I coach the Sharks right now. And us too, Veronica, we came in first place. We won both our games. So that was a great day for us. But yeah, I mean, being a part of this organization, this community has made a huge difference in my life, because the people that are on the teams that I participated in, they've been great. And we've done stuff outside of AFCSL, and I've created friendships that wouldn't have happened had I not been a part of this league. And I know that happens a lot with people who join this organization, is that they come in here, they may have friends or they may not, but then they end up creating some of these great friendships, and and even they may be able to be themselves here that they can in other places, right? And then, so they're free to be who they want to be. And with this diversity, equity, and inclusion, is that I want to make sure that that continues to be the case for us, and that people know that, I want to play softball and just be me, come to AFCSL.
Right, and I noticed too that when we collaborate, because I'm, my team, the Master Batters, has collaborated with the Sharks on several occasions, and I think in a way we have very similar support structures where we realize that we're not going to win every single game, and we realize that mistakes happen, and that the only way you're going to become a better player is just to work through it. And I've always noticed you've been very supportive of your players. You paid special interest in their training and their acceptance of the sport, which is real good. If any new people are out there that are looking at joining a team or so, you got managers like David out there that they'll take you in and they will start to show you the basics of how to get going. And I noticed that on your team, specifically the Sharks, just like us.
Absolutely. I think it's important for people who may have who came onto this league just like I did, have no idea about softball. Sure, you may have watched it here and there or watched baseball, but you really don't know how to play. And I want to make sure that people who come into this league feel comfortable to learn and to understand that it's okay. You don't have to be this great softball player to have fun, to make friends, to be a part of this community. And if you want to learn more, I will be more than happy to do some drills, and get you sore, but get you better, right? Get you better. And then one of the things I love about coaching is you see the progression of the player, right? And the progression means their confidence. You see their confidence level get higher and higher and higher, and then they're just banging it out of the park, right? They're making those plays, and you see those smiles on their faces, and that's what I love about being the coach.
Yep, I feel that. I definitely agree. Veronica, I'm sorry, Sarah, when you were working with me at Pride last summer, when we were AFCSL and some other sports organizations were in the Garden, you had brought up your past experience on a previous league's board and their makeup and stuff. So you come into our league with a bit of experience, don't you?
It's a mix. Yeah. Before I moved down here, I lived in Seattle and I was on the board for a season before I moved. So it was really interesting to see like what they did versus what was being done in San Diego, and just gave me a different perspective. And like, okay, here's what we can apply here. Here's what we should apply here. And it's good to have that like different perspective on how things were ran.
Right. And I noticed too that you were very well versed in a lot of the administrative duties already. So you came into this ready to go, and that was refreshing because, sometimes when we have board turnovers and maybe we're not really sure what to do and all that, because of your previous experience, that was really great. I was really happy to see that. You had been talking about some ideas that you had for the future of the Women's Plus. What ideas do you think you have to increase recruitment of Women Plus? Like, do you think we can appeal to certain segments more somehow? Is it parents we're looking for? Is it singles that we're looking for? What do you think we could be doing?
I don't have a preferred target group. A lot of people do, but I just like, if you want to play in the Women Plus section, if you identify as a woman or non-binary and you want to play softball, there's a space for you. What I see for this division growing is just an acceptance. And that's forget the question, but yeah.
It was just basically like, if you had any big ideas that we had going forward, because I know that in some of our meetings we've talked about when we do clinics that we might advertise in specific areas to get more there. Because last year we did get an increase. We need to do way more this year, and I know you had a lot of great ideas to going forward with that. And I'm sorry to interrupt in case you're about to start. Anyone out there watching, if you had attended our clinic last spring, you would have been very impressed with how Sarah helped organize that. She had that going. She had the women come in and they would do their rounds in quick succession. We actually got quite a bit of people through and rated and ready to go after that. And it was different this year because of Sarah's new input into the league on the board when she did that. And you came into this appointed at first, and I don't think either one of us realized you had to run right away after you were appointed. And so then you ran for election and won. Yay! So obviously your message got across.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, my background's in operations, so anything operationally related and logistics related, I get. So it was great to like put some of my experience into something that would be helpful. But yeah, I mean, to go back to your first question, like some of the improvements that we want to try to work on is just listening to other people's like comments. It's like, hey, it'd be cool if you had kind of like, if we could just play for a weekend to check out the league. And that's something that we were going to implement 2020 season, to have like a drop-in player, like, hey, we have too many forfeits because not everybody can make it to the game. To avoid forfeits, we were going to say, okay, you can pick up another player. And that would be okay just to prevent the forfeit, because we already have the umpires. People already drove. It's not fun to drive for one game when you're from Chula Vista to Santee or Poway. So it's whatever we can do to make it fun and to avoid forfeits, and to the pickup player, the drop-in player, that's what it was called. The drop-in player is put in place in case, like, if Veronica has a friend and it's like, oh, she didn't sign up in time, but she wants to check out the league. It'd be like, all right, pay $10, sign the waiver, hop on a game. And then it's just, that's how we'll show people how fun the league is. And hopefully that's how we can increase membership, is just having that opportunity to drop in and like, all right, this is for me, or it's not for me. So it's just, that's one of the ideas we have. And that's something like just having those sort of ideas will help grow the Women Plus section, hopefully.
I believe that, and I remember that we on the open section were waiting to see how that was going to play out, and if there was any potential of looking at that on our side. Probably not in the main division parts that we have, but with in the future, we're really looking at hopefully with an E division in the future, a more defined E division, and masters or seniors teams, senior groups that are going to form. Something like that might make sense because they're not competing for World Series kind of things that gets in the way. And Asana has their equivalent to the gay softball World Series that Naga has, which is the Asana equivalent. And what do they call theirs?
It's just Asana World Series.
The Asana World Series. Yeah. And they have the drop-in situation working already system-wide?
No, so that was actually, we went to the winter meetings, and a lot of cities were saying like, all right, this is what we've implemented new this year. This is how we're increasing membership, because that was a topic, is like decreasing membership. And it was actually Seattle that came up with that most recently. Their board's pretty awesome. And I always like listening to their suggestions, because it's something that like we can carry over, and mostly because the Women Plus team managers are really easygoing and really accepting and really adapting. I think because of their buy-in, we're able to implement these like little, what's it called? These little trials and tests. Right. So I'm just super grateful that we have team managers that are super into improving the league or testing theories out.
Yep. I'm excited for that. But since you brought up team managers, that brings me back to Veronica, because Veronica, you have probably one of the most famous managers on the Women Plus side, Shelly. How is it having Shelly as your manager on your softball team? I hang out with Shelly once in a while.
Oh, Shelltown. She honestly, so Shelly is amazing. I absolutely adore her. She's a very strong personality, but I will definitely say Shelly is one of the older players in the league that really takes players under her wing and teaches them. When I first started in the league and on Gossip About That, Martha, who was the previous manager of Gossip About That, so we were good friends, and she was like, hey, you need to come play softball. And I was like, oh, no. Like, I'm a basketball player. I don't play softball. I've always played basketball. And she was like, no, you're athletic. You'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. So I go out to the first practice and throw the first ball, and it goes straight into the ground. She was like, oh, okay. Like you weren't kidding. So I have gotten a lot better, but my team will tell you there will be times where I'm like really trying, like really focusing, and the ball goes straight into the ground. So I feel like just kind of to echo what David was saying, this league, it's okay, whatever skill level you have, because we'll be able to place you on a team and that has a manager that's willing to teach you. And, Shelly is one of those people because she always says she's the catcher. And if there's a girl or someone in the women's plus up to bat and they just like striking out after the game, she'll take them aside and be like, hey, listen, like this is what you have to do. Try this, hold the bat this way, because it's not fun if you just go out to play and you're striking out every single time, So Shelly is always like, no, like, let's get this right. It needs to be fun. And so like, I just can't echo enough how much AFCSL really is. It's a rec league. It's where, yes, there's a lot of us that are competitive, and I am super competitive, even though I throw the ball into the ground sometimes. I am still super competitive, but it's fun. But it's also just, a nice way to meet people. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about Shelly and all of the other managers that are out there as well. I think any team, if it's a new player coming in, any team that you're going to join, the managers are there because they love it. Like it's a volunteer thing, they're not getting paid or anything like that. Like they're volunteering and they're doing it because they love it. So Shelltown's awesome.
Yes. And so have you ever found love on the softball field?
Have you ever what?
Have you ever found love on the softball field?
Oh gosh, I'm like blushing now. Yeah. So my girlfriend's.
I want to hear all the details.
Ooh, it's hot in here.
I wonder what she's gonna say.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend, Stephanie. She would always hit to me and always out at second. So yeah, that was the conversation starter. I enjoyed watching her run by.
Cool. Yeah, I often see a lot of friendships and romance and just collaborations break out on softball fields all the time since I've been in this league, and that's just one of the things they always like. Are y'all dating? Are you not dating? And then there's also times. I mean, it's usually good, but then there's times like me and Trent. People knew when we were not happy with each other, and you're like, the dugout would be like,
Yeah, my old manager, and Shelly kind of has this rule too, but she's definitely more lax about it. She doesn't like people dating on the same team because she's like, if you guys are fighting, you're both not going to show up to a game, or if you're traveling, you're both going to be gone. She's pretty lenient about that now, but that was definitely a rule when I first kind of came into the league, but she's pretty cool about it now.
Also, we are not on the same team. We compete against each other.
Right.
Yeah, I have to admit, I think it works out better that way for me and Trent as well, because we get a little bit more competitive than we realize when we're together than apart, and that can be gut wrenching, especially when you're like, you got to keep your mouth shut when you see something. You're like,
It's some fun wagers, though. I can assure you that.
Okay, so David, I'm going to come back to you on this. Forgive me while I try to figure this out on the Zoom thing, but I'm going to pop up a picture randomly, and I want you to tell me, this is the what the heck portion of our meeting, and all I want you to do is look at this and tell me what's going on in this picture and what you can tell me about it. So let's see.
As long as I can answer, I had too many drinks, I don't remember.
Let's see. How about this one? Let's see. Did it work? No?
No.
No. See, I knew like technology should work for me. Let's see, try one more time.
Hit share.
Share screen.
Yep.
Organization scope links are not available. Okay, I guess that won't work. What I was going to show you was this cute little picture of you and Gary, and maybe I can show it to you like this. There we go. It was you and Gary, and do you remember when that picture was taken and what was going on?
I think that picture was taken at the out at the park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's out? Tell our members what Out at the Park is.
So Out of the Park is a collaboration with San Diego Pride, and they work with the San Diego Padres, and they have a night where, you know, it's celebrating LGBTQ plus. And the history, we had the gay men's chorus and the women's chorus come and sing, and it's a fun event. We've had tailgate parties for AFCSL over the years. We've also had a special reserved party, I think a couple years ago, where you can buy tickets and get some drinks and hang out with your softball friends before the start of the game. But yeah, I mean, I feel lucky that my husband was already a softball player when I was playing. So he was playing in the Denver League, and he ended up when moving to San Diego. When I got him to come to San Diego, we got to be able to play together, and I love it. I love playing with my husband. With
how about this one?
Oh, that one. Yes. So I participated in the AIDS life cycle 5 or 6 times now, and it's the largest single HIV and AIDS fundraiser in the world. And it is for the San Francisco AIDS Project and the LA Lesbian Gay Center. And on the route, we ride our bikes from San Francisco to Los Angeles, and on day 5 they have the red dress day. It started off as dress red because on the route, if you took a look from a bird's eye view, the part of the route looked like a ribbon, and so people started dressing red to symbolize the AIDS ribbon. And then it turned into, okay, everybody now wears red still, but it's dresses. And so I get to wear a dress. And I think that specific dress my mom made for my sister's wedding that she wore. Ooh. And then she let it out a little bit so that I can wear it.
Okay. I didn't know you did that. I did AIDS Life Cycle in 2018. That's so crazy.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's a great organization and a great event. 7 days cycling.
Gosh. Okay, here's the last one for David on his picture. What is this about? What the heck?
That is the start of my IT career. That was probably the last time I didn't have any facial hair. In my previous job, I couldn't have mustache or a beard or anything like that. So that's why I'm very clean shaven. And
how long ago was that?
I was 30 in that picture.
30? That was cute. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
So, Tony, your turn. You mentioned that you and you had decided to run for the board earlier this year, and you were at a protest or a something with Roman. And so I found this one where you,
those are Black Lives Matter.
So what's going on? When was this picture taken? What can you tell me about that day? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a Black Lives Matter march in La Mesa in Lemon Grove area, and we talked about it. He said, "Well, hey, I want to go with you. I want to try it out." It was for me. It was my second march, and it was his first. and we both talked about it, and I said before we go, we had to talk about a game plan just in case it gets a little rowdy, and so we had to have an exit plan. But it was fine, you know what I mean. But his boyfriend was a part of his husband was a part of it too.
Yeah,
he wasn't at the march, but he kind of dropped us off, and then we and he stayed a couple blocks away, and then when we say, hey, come get us, we need to go. If we were fearful of something happening, he was there for us. But it was really fun. It was really fun, and it was I got to and I was really impressed in how involved Roman was in it. You know, really, my coach, and then someone that was another race, and it was close to me. That was something that felt really good to have that type of support. So yeah,
Roman's great. Yeah, he was. I'm glad he was there with you that day for that. I think I found another picture that I guess I knew this, but I've forgotten, and so what the heck? You're a Navy.
I was in the Navy. That was right out of boot camp.
Tony.
Those were my skinny days. That was me right out of boot camp in the 90s, 96, I believe.
Wow. Okay. And what rate were you?
Yeah, and I was crazy. And thankfully, I spent my entire Navy career in San Diego. I was fortunate enough where I was stationed in boot camp here. My A school was here, and then I was stationed here right afterwards. So my entire, and I was like, I'm not going back home. I'm staying here. I'm loving all this gay stuff. So yeah. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tony. That was fun. I don't think a lot of people knew you were a veteran. So now that you're out there, we'll all remember next Veterans Day and stuff. So, hoorah!
Thank you.
Sarah, on yours, I had found this picture, and what's going on there? I met this little buddy already at the clinics last year, right? Earlier last year?
No, so I think you met Nyx, which is a puppy. She's been zooming around. That's actually Echo. She passed away in October.
Okay.
She's 10 years old, but she saved my life, like literally. So I was not in a good place, and then I got her, and then everything was better. So I had her since she was a wee puppy, like that big. It does bring up good memories. Sad memories because she's gone, but good memories because she's the best. But the other one that I brought to the clinic is zooming around right now. I threw a ball, and she's been chasing the little brown dog that we have too.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw both dogs running around in the background. I was like, wow, they're
so for the replay, people can like not pay attention to me and just have that entertainment in the background. Right now they're trying to find the ball. They can't find it, even though it's glow in the dark.
So what about this one?
Yeah, that's fun. So that was so
that's not her, by the way. She's on a, I'm sorry, that's not her. Her face is on a
I'm on a stick. Yeah, so what that was is I moved to San Diego, and I couldn't afford going up to Portland for an annual tournament. So after I moved down, my Seattle friends, they put my face on a stick and carried me around as if I was there. So it was really cool. That tournament's like one of the best tournaments. Like I'm not gonna say in the country because I don't know what the rest of the country does, but definitely on the West Coast.
Right.
A weekend of fun. So that's what that picture was.
Right. You bring up a good point about tournaments, though. For those who are listening in on our meeting today with the AFCSL, not only does your team normally play in our season, but a lot of times, a lot of teams will go to another city and play tournaments that are being hosted, and that is. I mean, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun to go to somewhere else with all your buddies on your team, go hang out, try not to be the first team to play in the next morning and all that. So yeah, tournaments are a lot of fun to do in the AFCSL with your teams if you can find the right team that does all that.
Yeah, and even if it's not your team, like when we went 2 years ago, because this year was canceled. Last year, my team had hit that, and what had happened was kind of like merged, and then we had a player from Portland too, and we ended up winning the highest division. So that was super awesome. So even if your team doesn't travel, it doesn't mean that you can't, because there's always like teams, at least in the women plus side, that look for extra pickup players for tournaments.
Yeah, that's true. I'm often picking up players, and David's picked me up on his team in some tournaments, and vice versa. Thank you so much, Sarah. Veronica, I was going through yours, and like I said, I had a lot of fun with your pictures, but I only got a few. I got this one. You're flexing. You're drinking out of a trophy.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. Do I have a fanny pack on in that one? Usually I have fanny packs on. Oh yeah, there's the fanny pack.
Yeah, fanny pack. There it is. Fanny
Yeah,
pack.
that was a closing party one year at Moe's, I believe. And I don't know if that was, if we won maybe I think we got like second place in the league or something like that. And so I think my beer cup is inside that trophy and, showing my non-muscles.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're that's a great picture.
Thanks. It was a good time. That was a fun year in the league for sure.
What about this one?
Oh geez. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was the first time I ever went skydiving. First and last time, actually. I don't like to test fate that much. And so I did it once to say I did it. Yeah. And that was like the greatest feeling. I think I went to Hillcrest after that. After we landed, I went to Hillcrest and just had a blast because I lived. So that was pretty cool.
I want to do skydiving. I really want to try it. Trent, he's afraid of heights. My 23andMe says that I enjoy heights, and it's true because I do. So, but he won't. He doesn't want to do it. And I've been wanting to try it. So I was excited to see that picture. I have this last one for you.
Oh jeez.
Is
oh my gosh.
What's going on?
So that was T-ball. That seriously was the last time I had played softball before playing AFCSL. So like, I mean, I was tiny, right? Like that kid couldn't throw the ball either. So I mean, look at that hat. Like that hat doesn't even fit me. It's just, oh Jesus. Yeah. So when I said I hadn't played since T-ball, I was being serious. I still throw the ball the same too. So, geez, I don't know. Maybe like, I have no idea. Little, 6, 7.
For some that don't realize, I also teach. Currently, I'm teaching 4th grade. I'm about to go to 3rd grade, and I've been teaching them a little bit. I have to teach kickball. I can't teach softball because you don't want little kids throwing balls at each other's faces and stuff like that. But the kickball, I keep telling them, like, when you get older, when you get to middle school or high school, you can play baseball, you can play softball, but these are the rules. These are the rules that you're learning. And I look at, I don't know why, when I see this picture, it reminds me of all the kids that I've been working with at school, because you see them change. They hate it the first couple of weeks that I'm showing it to them. But once they get that first out, once they get someone out, you just see the fire burn in their eyes, and it's next thing you know, they're trying to death spike people with the ball and like, out and stuff. So do you consider yourself, were you an aggressive kid when it came to playing baseball or softball? When you were in middle school?
I've definitely always been super competitive. So I think that's why over the last 5 years of playing in the league, I'm like, okay, seriously, like this is embarrassing. I look like an athlete and I'm like throwing the ball into the ground. Like this is not okay. my saving grace, I can run and I can hit. So I had a couple things going for me, but not quite the whole package. So
yeah, so I'm pretty decent at the game, but I can't run worth shit. I'm serious. For me, running as fast as possible just means stomping into the ground harder. I'm not moving any faster. I'm just stomping into the ground even harder. So everyone, I want to thank you so much. We're at the finish line on this great thing, and we made some good time today. I want to thank everyone for participating in our first town hall with the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. David Carlos is the chairman of that committee, and Sarah, Tony, Veronica, and myself are members of the committee. Anyone out there on the league that would like to join the committee or get more information about it, you can send an email to EDI is it EDI at Gmail? Yeah, EDI, no wait, what is it, Sarah?
EDI at AFCSL.org.
Okay, that's right. We had it moved over to AFCSL. So it's EDI at AFCSL.org, or you can always send me an email at info@AFCSL.org, and I will forward it and send you the correct email address if you didn't understand it here, because I know I can be a little confusing with that. But everyone, I really appreciate you coming in and showing the rest of the world about what we are, a little part of the league. There's even more stuff going on, and this is your first time meeting us up here. We're going to have more of these coming up with other areas of our league, so you can meet other players and see what their stories are as well. Again, I want to thank everyone here for participating. Your inputs were great, and I really love a lot of the memories that came up when we did the pictures and all that. Anyone got any last words before we say goodbye?
I would like to say, Lee, thank you for putting this together and giving us all the opportunity to talk about equity, diversity, inclusion in this committee, how it impacts AFCSL, and also, just like let's have these conversations, right? Let's have these conversations that they're difficult, but we can do it. And, if you're listening to this, you're supported, you're loved. We want you to play on our league. And that's what this committee is all about. So thanks for giving us the opportunity to share that. This was fun.
Thank you, David.
Something real quick. If you find that you want to be involved, but you don't think that you can commit full time, feel free to still email us or email Lee. That way we can invite you to a meeting, and maybe you only want to show up once or twice, but to just help out when you can. So don't make, if you can't commit full time, or if you can't commit a lot but still want to help or want to listen in on it, we'd love to have you at one of our meetings.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah, for that. Tony, Veronica?
No, that's it. I'm just glad to be here, glad to be part of the change, and this is amazing. And we hope we get some new members out here. Come join us. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I'll just add that it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your skill level is, doesn't matter how you identify, or if you've never played softball or you're a pro, there is a space for you here in AFCSL. We see you. We want you to be out here. We can't wait to get back on the field. So just, if you're interested, please reach out and just know that you're supported and you have people that are like you in the league, and we look forward to having you.
Yes.
And just like you said, we can't wait to get back on the field. Ooh.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to meet everyone afterwards and have a brewski over and talk about how we beat everyone. Now, just playing. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a nice, great Saturday night. We will, and happy holidays, guys. And everyone else out there, thank you for joining us for our first AFCSL Town Hall. And we hope to see you guys back again soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.